want to let everybody know that our wonderful elementary school kids are coming over to sing for us, and that there are refreshments. There's bottled water and cupcakes over tables over here.
On TV, yeah. Yes, it's so good.
Hello everyone, it's so nice that I'm seeing so many faces, it's really sweet. And we have got to give it up first for these beautiful elementary school teachers and Julie Gordette, their music teacher. They did a great job and we thank them for doing it. So I thank you all for being here to celebrate Andover's 175th anniversary. I'd like to thank the Andover Elementary students again. And I'd like to thank Michelle Lorenz and the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts over there, who handed out all of your little flyers. Before we get to our guest speakers, who were good enough to take time from their very busy schedules to celebrate with us, I would like to acknowledge and thank everyone who donated to the 175th anniversary. Because without the donations, without you people, we wouldn't have any events. So thank you very much, especially our wonderful sponsors who gave so much to this event. Thank you. I'd also like to recognize and thank Scott Person here, who was nice enough to dedicate the beautiful tree over there for our 175th that we will be lighting at Christmas time every year. Thank you, Scott. And Ryan Fitch, who also donated a tree that's behind the school that we will be planting our time capsule that you see there and our memorial plaque after this dedication. Anyway, back to Tom Talbot, who's in the middle row over here, who offered his time and his knowledge and gave us the ability to create a brochure of historic homes, which you can see over there. We have a brochure of all the historic homes of Andover with links that you can go and look them up if you'd like. And a booklet of Andover's historical farms. And we appreciate this very, very much, Tom. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so in case you are wondering why we chose a Thursday, which seems pretty odd, we chose this Thursday because today is the actual incorporation day for Andover. So today, on this day in 1848, Andover was incorporated as the 146th town in Connecticut. Woo! And that's what it is. So I am now going to turn this podium over to Scott Yeomans, our town historian. I'm sorry, you're not hysterical, you're a historian. A historical historian, so that he can say a few words about Andover's history. Thank you.
As was just mentioned, in 1848 we became a town, but the people of this area had been coming together as a community for over 110 years prior to that point in time. As early as 1743, there were a group of people that got together and decided they wanted to establish an ecclesiastical society of their own. An ecclesiastical society was a defined area, much like a town, but it was assigned to a specific church. If anyone's seen the first ecclesiastical society or the first church of some town, they were the first ones and generally included the entire town. And then, much like North Coventry, you end up with the second ecclesiastical society. It's another church. People didn't have to go as far. Well, the people in the area of Andover were on the outskirts of the first ecclesiastical society of Hebron. They were on the outskirts of the second ecclesiastical society of Lebanon, which became the town of Columbia, and they were on the the outskirts of the two ecclesiastical societies over in Coventry, which is the north and the south, known as North and South Coventry today. So if you think about it, you had to go to church on Sunday. You didn't have a choice. You had to be a member of the community church. You didn't really have a choice. Even if you were an Episcopalian up in Hebron, you had to pay your taxes to the Andover church or the church you were assigned to. So anyways, as of 1743, the people in this area said, we don't like going all the way over to the church in Columbia. We don't like going all the way up to Hebron. It's a hard trek, especially in the winter. To go over to Coventry, we have to cross the river and so on. They said, we need to create our own church. Again, 1743, they put a petition before the general court. Again, this is before we even had the United States. So you went to the general court. That was the legislature of the day. It was turned down. Needless to say, the ecclesiastical societies that existed, and there was some question in the legislature whether this small group of people here would be able to support a church of their own. It meant you had to build a building, you had to maintain that building, and you had to pay for a pastor to live here. And you had to fully support, just like today, no different. But it was a small farming community with almost no industry. So there were questions. They repetitioned in 1744, 1745, 1746, all meeting the same end. They were denied. But persistence paid off, and in 1747, the Andover Ecclesiastical Society was created. So now we had our own church. They built the first meeting house down here on Hebron Road. Just after you get up the hill, there's a vacant lot between the big white house and Kim Tabor's house there. That's where the first meeting house was built. They created a church here. Almost immediately, in 1753, they decided we ought to be a town. Because you still had to go back to Hebron and Lebanon, wherever, for your civic duties, voting, paying taxes, dealing with building permits. They didn't have such a thing, but any civil activity you had to go back to the mother towns for. So they started again in 1754, they put in a petition. 1758, they put in a petition. Then there was a lull for a while because they kept getting turned down. There was a lot of opposition from the mother towns wanting to lose the tax revenue, but also there was a lot of concern about Andover having to maintain the bridges over Hop River, because all the bridges would fall in our territory. Coventry wouldn't have any more, Bolton, Hebron, and so forth. So again, it was an arguing point. But somewhere along the way, Columbia decided they were going to become a town, and they were known as the Crank Society. It was the second society in Lebanon. Lebanon stretched all the way to where I'm standing in those days. But Columbia was going to become its own town, which was going to leave that part of Lebanon that was an Andover society totally cut off from Lebanon proper. You wouldn't have to go through another whole town to get to real Lebanon. So they annexed where we're standing now to Hebron in 1795. That's why, even though originally we're dealing with three different towns, by the time we become a town in 1848, we're down to only two towns, Hebron and Coventry. This land was annexed over to Hebron. So that takes place. They continue to petition now and then, every 10 years, every 20 years, or whatever, for township. And finally, in 1848, we were designated our own town, taking the exact same borders that the Ecclesiastical Society had. And those borders did not run along property lines. That's why anybody who lives along the edge of the town probably has paying taxes to two different towns and things, because initially the borders were set up, all they cared about was whether your house belonged to the Andover Ecclesiastical Society, i.e. the Andover Church, or whether you were assigned to the Coventry churches or the Hebron churches. So they basically ran the lines pretty much house to house to house to include you, not caring where your borders were for your farm, because when they set up the Ecclesiastical Society, obviously there was no town concerns whatsoever. 101 years later, we become a town. We chop a lot of people's land in half. But there we are, 1848, we become a town, and we begin the 175-year journey that we come here to celebrate today. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. That was terrific. Thank you. And one of these days, all of Connecticut is going to know where Andover is. Since people in the next town aren't sure. And of course, it doesn't help with a Boston accent to tell them that we're in Andover. That's just, oh, Andover, Mass. No, you guys have one too. Anyway, we are very fortunate to have our speakers here today. I also would like to tell you that most of our Board of Selectmen are here today. Paula King, Jeff Murray, Scott Persson, and Jeff Maguire. Let's give it up. And right now I have the pleasure of inviting up our State Representative Steve Weir, who is nice enough to rush here today after being in work all day. So,
I will echo what Catherine said. When my colleagues, I'm a freshman to the state legislature, and when they ask me, what district are you from? And I say, Andover, Hebron, Marlborough, part of Bolton, part of Glastonbury, and they're like this. And then I say, well, it's Pam Sawyer's old district. And then they say, oh, now we know where it is. True story, true story. I just say Pam. First, before I get started on some remarks I work on, I'm sitting here listening to the children play and looking out at everybody in the crowd. It's beautiful to see everybody here. And I think of the different feeling if we went back 3 years ago and comparing to when we were shut in and secluded and kept away from gathering. It really is a beautiful thing to be here. Wow. Excellent, thank you. That's all right. I should know how to do it myself, but okay. Apparently they have people for that. So it's just great to see everybody out here gathered together to celebrate a really great time. I did not realize that today was the actual day, which makes it even more special. So 175 years is a big accomplishment, very impressive. And I went just to do a little bit of research back to 1848. Just bear with me while I give you a few tidbits of monumental occurrences during that year. So Zachary Taylor was our president. Gold was found at Sutter's Mill in California, and that started the gold rush of the minor 49ers. Niagara Falls in March of that year stopped flowing due to an ice jam. And all this can be found on Google, by the way. This is Wisconsin became the 30th state of the United States, and the first telegraph link between New York City and Chicago occurred in 1848. The New Haven train line began running that year. And those are some positive occurrences, and the list went on, but I only had one page here. So I'll also point out that during that time, worldwide, there were wars, there was famine, there was strife, there were arguments. But a bright spot in that year was the incorporation of Andover. And so through the history of Andover, there's agriculture, beautiful landscapes. We got quality education, obviously the students, it was wonderful to listen to the musical performances. Recreation with the rails to trails, got lakes, walking paths, and a really rich history. And so that bright spot continues from 1848 till today. And certainly I've been here over the past year, spending quite a bit of time. You've got a vibrant community, you've got engaged town leadership, and they're committed to the success and the future of Andover. And so I guess I'll leave it with this, as I hope that Andover stays blessed and that it continues with its success for the next 175 years. Thank you. Before I step down, I'd like to offer Catherine a citation on behalf of the legislature. If you would, Catherine. I'll read it briefly. Be it hereby known to all that the Connecticut General Assembly hereby offers sincerest congratulations to the Town of Andover in recognition of 175 years of incorporation.
And now I would like to introduce our first selectman, Jeff Maguire, who'll say a few words. Jeff?
Hi, how's everyone doing today? Good. On the behalf of the Board of Selectmen, I want to thank you all for coming out today. It's great to see everyone here. And I want to tell you, my whole speech is shot. Scott took the whole thing. It's out the door. I can't sit there and do anything else. But thank you for coming out. You know, Representative Weir, thank you very much for being here. You know, it's exciting to celebrate any number, but 175 years is a pretty large number. And there's so much history in Andover that, you know, we probably need to learn more about. The thing that I love learning about the town, did you know the original European settlers came here in about 1711? That's a long time. And I thought we didn't get anything accomplished, but it took them 135 years to get a town in Andover done. Okay? The Porter family, who was the first family by record that settled in this area, settled over at the intersection of Lake Road and Odonie, which is very interesting that they picked that spot. There was no lake at the time, but very nice place to settle. And you know, when we sat there and we became the 146th town in Andover in 1848, and we are the 146th out of 169 towns. That's pretty good for little old Andover right here. Right? Andover had an original 500 citizens, residents, and they all volunteered their time to build a vibrant and long-lasting community. And I believe that nothing, I have to take my glasses off, I'm sorry, I can't read. Nothing of substance comes without volunteers. So they volunteered to build this community. And I want to take a look at our 175th anniversary celebration, which starts tonight and runs to the 24th, and all the events that the group has put into that, it ends on the 24th of June, right? 24th of June, with the 175th day beach party, which I thought was extremely creative, you know. So that's going to be a beautiful Andover Lake. We hope that everyone will sit there and come and attend that. All the events included in this celebration were planned and are run by volunteers. These residents, the groups on this committee are the heart of our community, and I would like to take time to recognize them. And I'll let you know, Catherine told me I had 5 minutes. Right? And I don't know if you don't mess with Catherine, right? So in 5 minutes, you do 5 minutes. And then she comes to me earlier today, and she goes, Jeff, 2 people canceled, so stretch this out. Like, go ahead. All right? So I'll go through it. So Catherine McGauley-Lewis, who's the chairperson of the committee. And if you could all stand, I would greatly appreciate it. I want you to stand. Linda Armstrong, Susan Slater, Shirley DeFlatus, Kathy Palazzi, Tina Whistley, Anne Marie Daigle, Marianella Chafont, and Paula King. I want to give these ladies a great round. thank you for all your hard work. It's greatly appreciated by our little community. We appreciate everything you've done with a modest budget and very little help, right? Isn't that the truth? You can admit it. That's the truth. I only speak the truth. I tried to tell some other people here, I only speak the truth, right? You know, my nature is always to look forward, so I want you to sit there and think forward, and I see a bright future for Andover, but each of us needs to participate. We have to participate. We have fabulous organizations in Andover that can all use our help. The Andover Library was established in 1882. It can use your help. Anyone wants to participate, you can go over and see Diane Grenier. She will absolutely take your help. All right? The Andover Elementary School, which can trace its roots back to 1888, was established in our town, and if you go over there and you talk to the superintendent and you want to volunteer to do something, she will take your help, right? Do it for the kids. The Andover Volunteer Fire Department was formed in 1938. It's a great organization with people that care greatly about this community. And if anyone wants to be a volunteer or help, you can sit there and talk to Scott. He will gladly take your name and get you to volunteer for the fire department. They're all great organizations, and together they are the fabric of our community and deserve our help. Right? Everybody needs to be involved, young and old, volunteer. Start small, right? If you can start small, it will help us. Help your neighbor, coach a team, play pickleball on Friday nights at AES, build community, right? Clean your neighborhood, or maybe you can run for office, all right? Anybody wants to, there's elections in November now, and you can come here and you can run for office. I don't hear anyone laughing at that joke. I mean, come on, you can run for office, you can do something, right? So the next 75 years will be different. I can tell you one thing that will be different. Right back there will be the Andover Community Center that we're planning on getting started as soon as we possibly can. Hopefully that building gives a place for seniors to go and allows the community to get more active and participate. And if we work together for the common good, not only will we survive, we will thrive, right? And I hope that you all take what I'm saying seriously, and that please, we're a small community, and the more activities that we do together as a community, the stronger that we will be and the longer we will last, right? And thank you to the 175th Anniversary Committee again. Thank you very much for all your hard work, and the happiest of 175th birthday stand-up. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, as a special treat, I would like to ask Rebecca King to recite this poem that she wrote specifically for Andover for this celebration. Rebecca won a contest for the best poem, and deservedly so. It's a beautiful poem. And Becca, would you please come up? Big hand for Becca.
This is my ode to Andover. Oh, Andover, you hold all our lives. You have a uniqueness that no one can explain. Your fresh air, your cool breeze, the rolling hills and trees. I take a deep breath, in and out. Your blue skies on warm, sunny summer days. Your brisk, cloudy winter days. All in between. You hold farms, fields, gardens, and homes in your hand, as if they were only here for mere seconds. Walking through your trails on cool fall days, your open country air, your clear lake, I stick my foot in it. Very cold, I think. Could this be any better? I have lived here my entire life. I have made friends, met many people, wanting more. Now, time flies quicker and quicker until you've become an old man. Your 175th birthday? What the years have become. If I could go back in time, I would just be so amazed at how how little you were, and I would try to be with you all the way until this day arrives again. Happy birthday, Andover. My best wishes to you. Thank you.
Come on. I would like to present, 175 actually, would like to present Becca with this certificate of appreciation for her beautiful poem. And it is a beautiful poem. Thank you. What's your favorite color? Lastly, I want to thank the members of the Andover 175th Committee members who began this project with me in August of 2020. Each member took the lead on our projects and worked very, very hard to ensure that deadlines were met. And Michelle Lorenz, if you're out there, if you're ready, thank you. This committee put together a 175th calendar. All these things are over on the table that you can see. They made beautiful ornament, a cookbook, t-shirts, and created a logo and a banner. And every one of these committee members, along with not only devoting their almost 3 years, made monetary donations to this project as well. So, yeah, give it up for them. And we would like to invite anyone who feels like it to please come with us to the back of the school where the kids are going to bury the time capsule and put the plaque. And thank you again very, very much. And thank you to all our speakers.